This week in comic books, everything is Suicide Squad in DC, with the exception of maybe like two or three books. But like that's the push because the movie's coming out. So push, push, push. Also in the land of Marvel, what happens when you have a great concept for a character, but you're a horrible writer and you can't tell a good story? We're going to talk about that. Over in the land of indie, Scotty Young comes out with a whimsically fantastic book, and I'm going to spec on it a little bit. Not on a money side, but my predictions of it and how you need to jump on it now and don't miss out on it like you did with Middle West. All that and loads of other comic books. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, you're super cool for swinging by. If this is your first time on the channel, basically, I'm a middle-aged man that reads a bunch of comic books. I take some notes on them because I forget things, and then I regurgitate it to you as quickly as possible as I get the books, so you can kind of keep your eyes open for some things and maybe avoid some of the things you don't like if you agree with my superficial review of these comic books. So, what are we going to start off with? We're going to start off with the Joker Presents the Puzzle Box. So this is interesting. So we're going off on another Joker story here. Joker's the main antagonist in it. We got a magical MacGuffin box, if you will, that probably has something magical to it. The Riddler was originally looking for it, but this whole thing starts off with a party getting broken up with the Joker in it. And of course, he's constantly telling lies in it. I really like this depiction of the Joker more than a lot of the other stuff that's been coming out lately. I think it's very interesting. But this is a good read, and it's a good mystery, and it looks like we're going to get some fantastical woo-woo stuff in it. So I enjoyed this. This is fun. And plus, look at that cover. It's just a cool cover. I like that. All right. Going into Batman. So if you've been following Batman, it's been a great story up to this point. We can finally get a gist of the Scarecrow's plan in this and how he's working with Simon Saint in it. Again, this is all from the future state stuff that we read. Breaking into the insanity and trying to shut that down. Of course, you know, they all get away. Ghostmaker and Harley Quinn are playing active roles in this, insisting Batman and everything. But, you know, when you get stuff like this right here, you know, it's just awesome. And I really, really enjoy this. Not so much the Ghostmaker story in the end. Basically, we're just learning how badass Ghostmaker is, because he's, of course, defeated all these villains that have all come together to try to figure out how to go beat them. All right, in Justice League number 66, we get introduced to a new team of superheroes. This is the United Order. They come from the United Planets, and I always generally have a problem. Think of it as the UN actually having a military group instead of just relying on the U.S. So that's what we're doing here. We get a lot of Naomi action. A lot of talk about Naomi and this bigger, broader crisis that she's going to be a part of. You know, they've kind of been gearing her up a lot in, you know, like Teen Titans had her for a while. Now she's a member of the Justice League. They've been kind of floating this character around, kind of hinting that she's more than this extremely super powerful being, which it's one of those things where we're going over the top a little bit. Let's just give her a big crisis and let's just see how it reads and make our decision there instead of constantly reminding us how special she is. Samara comes back to Earth. Of course, he's a baddie. Like, there's some serious issues there going on. Full Justice League all trying to fight him, and of course that doesn't work out. So Naomi's going to take him on herself. But that's not really the interesting part. It's real short, real quick, and we get some more information about this kind of legitimately cool. I like her. I think it's a good art, and it's just a great story of Merlin trying to get these magical stuff. Future state, bringing it on now, but I'm all right. Crime Syndicate came out this week. This is 6 of 6. This ends this tale, and It's weird. Eventually, something beats the cousin. It's Atomica. She went into the air and kind of scrambled the brains up a little bit. Ultraman's not too, like, racist. He's a legit racist. It's kind of his. And everybody's a free loafer and everything else. I love the way they did the character in here. It's fun. But, man, you're right, Mr. Speedster himself has kind of died, and she's kind of gotten into this kind of. She's pretty much just going to torture Luther for as long as she wants now. And that's some villainous stuff. Okay, lots of crime syndicates are not crime. Picks up Suicide Squad number 6. This picks up Bloodsport. If you've been following this arc, it was a arc that was mentioned in Black Canary. Bloodshot fouled that up. About John Connor and kind of what his duty and why Amanda Waller in this. They because he sniffs kryptonite like most people would sniff. Daddy, some of that sweet kryptonite. Oh my god, that's funny as all get out. To get Super or John Connor in this one some sort of medicine. 3 kind of jacked him up because it vibrates at a different frequency. Cool. John Kent with the leather jacket. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So that takes us, even though they don't have much time to do it. There's a good shot of it. I liked that shot right there. So Squad. I don't even mind this much Suicide Squad going on as long as it's well. Oh man, Ram V, you are killing it on Swamp Thing. You really are. Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad's much larger now because this is happening in same timeline going out. As a matter of fact, in this one, you can kind of get a preview of what's going on in here if you read it in that order. And with like the D-listers, he's got like a fire guy. Swamp Thing tries to burn him up. They spent a lot more time in this instead of a movie or a survival type read, where they kind of really dealt with Swamp Thing's past. You know, because the green doesn't forget. It's basically just memories, right? That's the magic woo-woo to it. And Waller wants Swamp Thing, so they gotta go get him. And apparently, we're gonna get into that survival mode hunting. You remember Rambo, like the first one where he's like hiding in the. I hope they do that. That would be awesome. But yeah, parasites in. Never known before, Nocturna. Yeah, and like a Chernobyl. I'm assuming it's nuclear because of the name. I guess. I don't know. Let's take a look. See what you think. Let me know. Again, I don't know these characters that well. A lot of these are new to me. But I mean, that's just. Come on now. So, super good read. You could jump on right here and be okay. Next, and I'm surprised. Usually, Black Label books don't really interest me a whole lot. Sometimes they're just a little too gritty for me. I'm just like, I don't really want to get that. I don't want that much realism in my comic book. I just want to have some fun. But my comic book shop told me to get this, and I said okay. This is Black Label, and we got a Suicide Squad in here as well, and it's being ran by Red Hood, right? Drake himself, and we kind of pick him up where he's in prison. Amanda Waller comes to get him out. He gets introduced really quick to his team, and well, there's his team, right? We got Banshee. I'm guessing it's a teleporter but it looks like Javelin from the movie. It really does. We got. Okay, I get it. She's like a parasite killing type thing. Under the mask, there's this blah thing. It's weird. But we got War Dog in here too. And War Dog's kind of like your alt-right kind of guy. And he's kind of funny. And then, of course, we got the token black guy who's super strong and kind of thuggish. What's most interesting in this, and I found funny, is that they kind of took the whole idea of Joker and made it a Clockwork Orange type of character. And, of course, he's in there breaking into Amanda Waller and gets her little button thing that blows people's brains. And somebody dies. They drop a body in this one. So now the team's like freaking out. You know, who's next? What's going to happen? Of course, Joker's going to play. I'm going to be picking these up for sure, just to kind of enjoy this. Okay. Next, I got Sinister War #2. This Spider-Man story, but we've been so kind of with the boring parts of Spider-Man lately that I think that kind of overshadows this, and I think a lot of people are going to end up passing this up. So if you don't know, he's in a war with like every type of villain out there. They're all in each, except for one has 7, because they're not really a Secret 7 or Sinister 6 type team. They're just a Sinister Society. That's the girls. Snap, snap. Now, after he's been bounced around by every other team, just getting it handed to him. What is the connecting factor to all of these characters? And of course, it's Kindred, who's really just an Osborn that came back from hell. I've said it 1,000 times. I wish they would have just made that a staple character on its own. But no, you gotta go to the past and whatever. Okay. Yeah. We're in Marvel now, if I forgot to say that. So next, Immortal Hulk #49. I think I'm about, but I didn't particularly enjoy this read because it's something that we've already seen, you know. And the entire thing's narrative, by the way. You need to know that. Direct dialogue in here whatsoever. It's basically the reporter that's been hanging out, like her. I don't know. They don't make it very clear. Well, they did, and I just didn't care. And of course, you know, Immortal Hulk's got to go battle this threat. He's got to go beat the lead. Fantastic Four Tower. They have a standoff with the Avengers. Fantastic Four breaks in. You know, Thing grabs his buddy because they're friends now, and takes him to the Forever Gate. And now they're going to head off. And the reporter like just randomly jumps through the gate too. Their own personal hell, if you will. So yeah, that's something there. Next, so here's my kind of small rant for the week. Spirits of a cool concept for a character done extremely poorly. So if you don't know, this is a young lady. She's Native American from the tribes of Arizona. Tribe's name. It's a very old one. Anyway, the family was massacred, you know, apparently way back in the day. So how she's this young? I'm assuming, you know, super mortal, superpower, woo-woo stuff. Okay, I can buy that. Over in Doctor Strange, she's now the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore. And she's the most powerful spirit of vengeance. And I'm just like, you mean to tell me, let me make sure I got this right now. You have a Native American character from a tribe, and the only thing you could think of was to mimic Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and kind of throw it together and make her ultra. Like, you had the best opportunity to take something like a Native American character with all their lore and all their stories and original, and you just carbon copied what we've already seen. That's what you did. and you kind of sort of made her. It was hinted, and I would say she may be of the lesbian persuasion, which is fine. But again, you just followed every trope that's out there now. Like this is bad. This is a bad read, and it's bad because you're going he's out and telling him what to do and not to do from his own past and all this other. How does she know of any of this stuff? She's just watching one glimpse of history. Anyway, she finds the evil spirit and she does this weird thing where she eats it. Now, there are Native American lores about eating evil and stuff like that, so it doesn't consume the world. That's an actual thing. The Pamunkey tribe here in Virginia have a very that kind of story. So that was pretty cool, but you made it so vague, it just came off weird, and I don't think it was explained very well. This is the problem with comic books. You tried to make something super ultra special, and it wasn't the story, it was the character in their normal environment instead of... anyway, that's enough of a rant. All right. Like Deadpool. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. You'll like this. It's funny, a lot of wit, a lot of references from movies that most people probably never even seen, and characters like B. Arthur and some of the stuff she was in. 3 different types of stories in here. 3 very different artists. The first story deals with Honey Badger, and it's actually kind of funny. It deals with living. Next one's about a movie and trying to find a movie, and it has your more 90s type artwork in it, of course. And then the last one, and this is something I've been seeing a lot more of. It kind of has that kind of artwork in it from Super Jail, or I can't think of any other popular references for that other than Super Jail. And it has Omega Red and that bear in it, and they're just funny. And they're meant to be funny. That's it. So if you don't like a funny, comical type story with a little bit of action in it, you're probably not going to like this too much. I enjoyed it, but that's me. I'm weird. All right, next. AWA Upshot came out with Not All Robots. This is cool. This is kind of like what if robots kind of started believing that whole mag towel thing. Men go their own way. That kind of philosophy that's going around on TikTok and YouTube right now. What if the robots in the future that are so ingrained into our society that they're almost citizens? Like, why are we working for these people? What do they do for us? You know, what is their value? That gets said a lot in here. And I was just like, oh my Lord, that's crazy. But for the most part, it's a good story. It's a funny science fiction story. And honestly, if my shop picks up issue number 2, I would probably pick it up just to kind of chase this down the road. It gives a take on society. It just changes the characters around, or a niche portion of our society, and changes the dynamics of it around to a robot versus, some men out there that have been burned by women. I guess is the best way to put it. All right, moving on. This is great. So this is Scotty Young taking a page from what's the guy that works with Johnny Depp all the time and everything. Anyway, if you missed out on Middle West when Scotty Young did that, I mean, it was like up to issue 5 or 6. Then everybody started talking about issue 1, and it was blowing up, and people were loving it. You're gonna love this. You should jump on this as soon as possible. This is good, and this is just a setup issue. Young artist decides to rent a house because she's looking for inspiration for more paintings. Okay, and the house may very well be haunted, and it's kind of a joke to her as she's going through it. But you can kind of see, like, if you look closely in the background in some of the panels, you kind of see these shadowy hands come out, and it's actually kind of creepy and cool. And then finally, the ghost confirms that it's there. And that's all this issue was. And it was great. I was like, oh, this is going to be a story versus, hey, here's something for you to consume. So I would pick this up, especially if you like Scotty Young's writing. You liked Middle West. I can't say that enough because I loved that story. If that's your thing, this is going to be your thing too. It's that same whimsical kind of art stylings from Middle West as well. And I'm very happy that he's still writing because he is a very talented writer. He does more than just covers that my wife collects. Last but not least, nostalgia, memory pill, if you will. Oh, I should be a rapper. Memory pill, if you will. That's great. Okay. Elvira and Vincent Price. I love Vincent Price movies. Just can't get enough of that guy. Ever since I saw him on The Muppet Show, I made it my life's ambition to collect all of his movies that I could possibly collect. They sit in a case with all my Marx Brothers movies. I'm just sorry, this is good stuff. Okay, so as this Elvira is trying to get back into television and movies and everything, she pitches what has happened in comic books that we've previously read over the last 2 years, right? But in this one, Vincent Price convinces her that we have to find a movie that is a whole separate subject, but it was called Rise of the Ram. And, we have to find this movie to save the world because it was never published. Well, the joke is that even IDM, there is a movie that's been reviewed called Rise of the Ram. The problem is the movie was never made, supposedly. In this one, in the book literature here, it says it was actually made. But apparently a review of the movie actually came out and everything. IMDb actually has the review. It's ridiculous, right? But the guy kind of did it. The director kind of did it just to kind of spoof that reviewers don't really watch movies. The whole reason why Vincent Price is in this is because it was said that Vincent Price was in the movie. It was 1972, I think. Regardless, they got to find this movie to save the world. We don't know why. So we go and we see one of Vincent Price's old buddies. And, he melts and turns into the Ram. So what is this all about? We don't really know. It's purposely being vague because Vincent Price is a bad guy at the end of the day is my spec on this. So, all right, guys, that's my haul. That's my review. That's everything I read. Be sure to check out Blaster Stash at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube's. Myself, Huey, Spectacular Spider Grandpa. We're going to talk about these books and even bring some more in. And we want you there, too, in the live chat. Have a conversation with us. Let us know what you thought about some of these books. Did you like them? Did you read them? Do you even care? All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.